everyone who has already joined. Welcome to our webinar on studying tourism management in Germany. Really super interesting webinar, if you ask me. So welcome to everyone who joined us on Zoom. And already I saw we have attendees also on Facebook. For those on Facebook, Zoom ID is there. So if you would like to, you can also join us on Zoom whenever you like. So yeah, welcome everyone once again from my side. My name is Georgi, and I will be today the least important person, I would say, because you can see all the important guests on the screen. I will be co-host / co-moderator of today's webinar. And yeah, so I also studied in Germany. I know where you are now, in which position, and I'm sure that this webinar will be super helpful for you because you have a chance to ask your questions directly to the representatives of the program and get the best possible answers, which I cannot provide, for example. So yeah, stay tuned. Send us your questions in the Q&A section, which you can see in the bottom part of the Zoom. You can send your questions whenever you want throughout the whole presentation, throughout the whole webinar. And either me or one of our guests will get back to you as soon as possible. Just one request from my side and suggestion, please always mention before you ask your questions to which program it is directed. So it's better for you, better for us as well to provide you with the best possible answers. So let me now quickly tell you some things about MyGermanUniversity. Short presentation. I will also provide you some interesting details about studying in Germany, and then I will give the floor to our guests. So I will not take a lot of your time, and I'm jumping into the presentation right now. So you should see my screen right now. Study tourism management in Germany. So really briefly about MyGermanUniversity. So what you should know about us that we are Germany's largest database of English taught study programs. We have over 2,300 study programs right now, both bachelor and master's programs, but also we also have added already some short courses and language courses, which you can see all at mygermanuniversity.com. I will provide later the link to that, so you will see it. And our main goal is to help students, international students like you, on their ways towards studying in Germany. And one of the ways of doing that is through our study finder, which is, again, as I said, the largest database of English taught study programs. We have lots of filters there, which you can apply and to find best fitting program for you. Also, the second way of helping you is through our articles. So we have more than 70 comprehensive articles, and there we have various topics, like including scholarships, uni assist, or visa, etc. There you can find them all there, and they're really comprehensive and provide lots of important information, which will be useful for you, I'm sure. And the third way of helping you is through doing webinars like today. So we have approximately 150 webinars per year, which include various topics. Again, we have topics like scholarships, and again, uni assist, some application strategies, general studying in Germany webinar, or like today's subject webinar, when we have special guests from German universities, which are doing their presentation, and where you have chance, a really great opportunity to ask your questions to the representatives of the program. Yeah, and regarding our team, we are based in Hamburg in Germany, but our team is quite international. We have people who are based in Brazil, based in China, based in Spain. I am from Georgia, but I'm based in Germany. So, and we cover counseling in various languages, ranging from English to Georgian and to Italian as well. So quite a lot of options. Yeah. So we are always happy to help. And now let me shortly introduce to you our webinar agenda first, and then before I give floor to our guests. So we will have two programs today, as you may already know. So from Hochschule Bremerhaven and from Heilbronn University of Applied Sciences, you can see the guests, and you already saw them also on the screen. So we will have from Hochschule Bremerhaven, we will have a BA program in cruise tourism management. And from Heilbronn University, we will have a program on MA level, which is MA in international tourism management. And very soon we'll present also the speakers. For now, I would like you to know about two databases when it comes to studying in Germany. So if you are more interested in studying in German language, I would say Hochschulkompass would be your stop, because when you go to find degree programs for tourism management, you will find 138 ones, but only 17 will be in English. Not maybe fully in English, but at least partially in English. But if you go to MyGermanUniversity, you will be able to find 19 programs for tourism management, all in English. You will be able to find 7 bachelor programs, and 5 of them will be English only, so you will not need any knowledge of any other language, including German. And will be 12 master's programs, and it will be 8 of them will be English only. And for those, I would say, who don't know yet exactly what to expect from studying tourism management in Germany, I would suggest to visit our subject pages. So we have lots of subject pages regarding every different subjects, for example, tourism management including. So you can go there and you can see what you would expect when it comes to studying tourism management in Germany. What are the rankings of universities that are generally offering this kind of program? What are the tuition fee ranges that you would expect? What are the application, admission, or language requirements that you would expect, etc., etc. So I would say that it's really nice first step for those who would like to create an idea for themselves. So what it is about studying tourism management in Germany. Regarding the tip from our side is that, of course, you should always look for the right university profile and study program. And sometimes students rely heavily on, for example, things like fees, or rankings or city names, for example, which are not always the correct strategy from our perspective. Because, for example, if you look at the rankings, of course, that you can find universities which are high ranked in really popular rankings. And of course, these universities are great, providing great programs. But the rankings do not always capture the most important details that are really important for you as for a person. Like every individual has its own priorities. So I would not suggest only be guided by this kind of thing like rankings or by cities. Like I've heard many times that, okay, I want to study only in Munich or in Berlin because I know this is great cities. Yes, of course, they are great cities with great universities, but in Germany, there are lots of great cities, great towns with really nice programs, universities, and really great quality programs. So I would like to suggest you to take a wider step, take much more things into account when you are searching for the best fitting program for you. Another thing, what I would like to know is that there are 2 types of universities that I would like you to have a takeaway from my presentation. So the first type of university is Universität type of university. And for example, if you go to our study finder, you can filter for that. You can click that you want to see tourism management, which is provided only by this type of universities, and you will be able to find 5 programs in this subject. And another type of university is University of Applied Sciences, and actually both universities today are fitting into this category. So, and if you go to MyGermanUniversity, you can control for that again. You can see what are the tourism management programs or related programs offered by this type of university, and you'll be able to find 15 programs in this subject. And yeah, maybe you will ask now, what is the difference between Universität and University of Applied Sciences? To put it really simply, so I would say that if your focus is more on research and theory, I would say then Universität, it's more about Universität type of university. But if you are more into application and practice, it's more about University of Applied Sciences, to put it really shortly and simply. And yeah, last but not least, another suggestion is that sometimes students are really strict in terms of wording when they are searching for best fitting program for them. And what I would like to suggest that sometimes wording may not be, if you are really strict, you may miss some programs which are better fit for you. For example, if you're talking about tourism management, it can be, for example, tourism development strategies that may fit you better, or it may be MBA in aviation or tourism management, some more wordings or some different wordings. So I would suggest you to, or cruise management like we have today. So I would suggest you to be more flexible in terms of wording so that you don't make sure you don't miss the best fitting and the most, the ideal program for you. Okay, so that was all from my side, I would say. Now let's move to our presenters, our speakers. Our first, we are now in north of Germany, so it's University of Applied Sciences Bremerhaven, and we will have the presentation of the BA program, Cruise Tourism Management. And our presenter is Professor Dr. Alexis Papathanassis, and he will be presenting this program. And let me now stop the presentation for some time. And let me invite Bremerhaven to take the floor and start their presentation. So yeah, the floor is yours, please.
So hello everyone, I hope you can hear me and understand me pretty clearly. Just give me a second to share my charts with you, my presentation. I've prepared something small. I have basically three, so let me see. So you can see it now, I assume. I'm just going to give you a short overview. I don't have a lot of time, so I'll try and keep it short and sweet. Three questions I want to address today. The first question is obviously, currently we hear about the cruise industry. It has problems and people cannot travel because of the COVID. Does it actually make sense to even go in this area? And surprise, surprise, I do think it makes a lot of sense, especially now, and I will explain to you why. The second type of question is, what is the program about? And can I do anything with it if I decide not to go and specialize on cruises? The answer is simply yes, and I will explain also why this is the case. And last but not least, I can give you a bit of an overview of what our alumni, our past students, are doing and what happens to them after they complete the studies with us. So I'll start with the first question. If we look at the cruise industry and the development over the last years, we can see an industry which has become pretty successful. It's grown enormously in terms of passenger numbers. Here you can see in the chart, basically the passenger number development from 2009 up to 2020. Obviously, if you see next to the numbers, 19 and 20, you will see a P, which stands for forecast, basically. That was before the pandemic. So we're talking about an industry which has been evolving upwards and positively over the last decade or so. In terms of its economic impact, it is a small fraction of the tourism industry, but yet a quite significant one, summing up to around about $150 billion of economic impact, direct, indirect, over yearly. We're talking about over 1 million jobs, and we are talking about around about 30 million passengers. So you can see that there's always a big fuss about every new ship that's coming, the new developments in terms of shipbuilding and technology, and it's even let's say the main topic of several documentaries. So it's an industry which has attracted a lot of attention for good reasons, also positive as well as negative. Now, coming to 2020, I picked here a headline from the Financial Times, posing the question that everyone is asking: is that the end of the line for cruise ship? My professional opinion is, I asked myself this question for obvious reasons, and I looked a bit in the past. And if you look at the share price, and if you look a bit at the history of the industry, you can see actually that this is not the first crisis, and it's by far not the worst crisis the industry has had. In 2009, we had the economic crisis, and I've put here the share prices development of the biggest cruise companies. When we're talking about the cruise industry, we're talking about many brands, but essentially we're talking about 3 or 4 big company groups that holdings that own those brands. And as you can see, let's say the impact in terms of share price was a lot worse in 2009 than actual today. And this is not the first crisis the industry has experienced. The industry itself got born out of a crisis. It was when they were doing the transatlantic crossings, at the times of the Titanic, where at some point in the 70s, we started having jets becoming more popular. So, a lot of those shipping companies entered a crisis. What are we going to do now? And they started developing the cruise concept, at the end of the day, which we see today. So we've seen that the industry has gone through a number of crises, always with using 2 methods, let's say. One is being very innovative in terms of its products. And the other one, obviously, is technology. Those two levers, let's say, of managing a crisis increase complexity. And if they manage to deal with this complexity, you get a new growth, you can kind of rebirth, which is what we actually expect to happen over the next years in the cruise industry itself. And this kind of new growth needs new brains. So it's quite a good opportunity because the industry will need new, better qualified people, perhaps fewer, but better qualified. And this is what we're all about. And this is what our program is about. Before starting there, Georgi mentioned to you a bit about let's say the different cities, and everyone knows Berlin and Munich and the big cities, but I can tell you there are quite a few beautiful towns and cities in Germany where you can have a very good student life away from huge expenses, a lot of traffic and all the problems you get with big cities. In Germany, if you want to party and everything, it's quite easy to go from one city to the next because of the highways. Here are some impressions of our city here in Bremerhaven. It's a maritime city. You can go to the sea. There's even a small beach around the corner at the university. Here are some impressions, and we have also a cruise terminal with a number of cruises starting and ending here as well. Our university, as university, is also one. It started as a school of navigation, so it has quite a long history. But it was founded around about, as we know today, 1975. So the university is as old as I am. Today, we have around about 3,000 students. So we are, by German standards, a small university, and we like it that way because it allows us to do things you cannot do and take care of our students in ways you cannot when you're in a big university. And a lot of our programs reflect also this maritime character. So a bit to tell you about our city. Now, coming to the program itself, it's essentially a business degree. So if you imagine, you see here the main structure of the program. So on the basis of everything and the main focus of your first semesters is going to be basics of economics and management, but in English. Then obviously we have introduction courses and some specialized courses on tourism and cruises, which become more and more specialized, more specific, and more, let's say, research focused as you move through your semesters. And we place a lot of emphasis on complementary competences. I don't like to call them soft skills because they're not soft, they're quite hard skills involved there as well. Traditionally, we have had high demand in the program. It was practically as difficult to get in as it was by medicine because we only had like 40 places for around about 320 applicants. Now, obviously, the applications are not at this level because of the situation, also due to the COVID situation and also the problems in the industry. But I expect this to come back to its old levels soon enough. So it's quite a good time to get in and study with us. We keep a very strong contact with the industry. Our alumni is spread all around the cruise companies. So it is very likely that if you end up doing your internship or working for a cruise company, that you will come across someone who studied with us. And of course, we place a lot of emphasis and focus on teaching. And we don't teach subjects, we actually teach people. So it's important to understand that it's more about you learning and not about us teaching. We are small, we have 40 people, which allows us to know to let's say, take care of our students on a rather individual level. We know our students by first name, they know us, and there's a very, very intensive contact. Which can be good, of course, but it can also be bad, let's say, if you want to hide away and not work. It's a bit difficult to get away with it. So, you will always be visible. Coming to our core principles, our business is not about teaching subjects. I want to underline this one. It's about people, like tourism, and this is where we focus at. So we expect you to undertake a lot of independent learning. We prefer a problem-based approach. This means that we would rather give you a problem and then deliver you the knowledge that you need to solve the problem on demand, instead of giving you knowledge for you to save for at some point later on without really knowing why I need it. We try to integrate what we learn because unfortunately the real world is not organized in academic subjects. Usually require knowledge and competences and skills that come from different subjects traditionally, let's say. So being able to pull all this together in order to deal with a particular situation or problem is what I would define as competence. And this is what we actually try to foster and develop here. And of course, we try to, we usually say our laboratories are not inside the building, but they're outside where the tourists are, where the action is taking place. So we also have an integrated consulting project, which is around for a full year at your final year, usually with a company, usually with a cruise company, with a cruise operator. We also have the opportunity to have internship, either 2 semesters or 1 semester internship, and 1 semester studying abroad in another university, in a partner university. So, we also like our students to get out there. I mean, we wouldn't be studying tourism if we didn't travel a bit, would we? So these are basically the principles by which we have built our program. And if you want to see more, I'll give you a link at the end. But it might be important for you to also know what happens to our students once they graduate. So a large part of them, half of them goes into permanent employment, and around a quarter of them go and do a master's somewhere else, which is not a bad idea nowadays. Qualifications are good, and we have also Heilbronn here with a master program. It could be a nice combination, I guess. And we have, of course, a small percentage that does temporary employment. This is effectively people deciding after their studies to say, I would like to travel the world a bit, so I will take a short-term contract on a ship, travel a bit, and then I'll see what I'll do after this. Another question that comes along is, where do they work? Most of them in the back office. Most of them earn around about from 25 to 50,000 euros at the beginning of their career. And most of them obviously live in Germany, and the vast majority would study CTM again if they would have to decide. And this is where you can find more information. Just visit our homepage. This is www.ctm_hs-bremerhaven.de. And this is where I'm done with your presentation. If you have any questions, let us know. And I would also like to pass you over to Leonie, one of my students, who can give you another perspective in the whole thing. Thank you.
Hello, I'm also from the University of Bremerhaven, today working at the University of Bremerhaven, and I'm a former student of this program. Obviously, I can recommend it very much because I chose to work there even. And yeah, a lot of our students have had great experiences working here and then going into all kinds of different directions in their business life. And we brought you a current student because we can tell you a lot, but somebody who is actually there and studying the program at the moment is offering some kind of insights that we cannot offer you. So Leonie will tell you about, I think you will tell us about 5 reasons to study cruise tourism management. Is that right?
Yeah, thank you. So hi, I'm Leonie. As you already said, I'm now in my 5th semester studying CTM. So I'm already here for 2.5 years. One of my main reasons to come here was that this is a really, really unique study program with the cruise focus. I was really interested in cruising and really interested in tourism in general. This program also offers a lot of practical projects that really, really give you an insight into the industry. This is this is one of the main things that make this program also very, very unique. It's really, really international. We have a lot of Indian students at the moment. In my semester, we have somebody from Africa and I think somebody from Russia in the semester under me. So we have a lot of different nationalities within our program. So everybody just speaks English, so you don't have to worry about that if you come here. A lot of, as Professor Papathanassis also said, those projects are with some firms. Our 1 year project in the 7th and 8th semester, for example, which is also really, really nice. So you can see the jobs or future jobs you might be able to applicate for. Also, Bremerhaven is a really, really nice city. Professor Papathanassis already showed you some pictures of Bremerhaven. It's a really, really nice city. It's very near to the sea. It's really, really cheap. It's great for student life. I myself am from Munich, so I grew up in a really, really big and expensive city. So Bremerhaven is actually really, really great in comparison to that. And it's really, really close to all things related to cruises in general. We have a huge cruise harbor here, as well as the closeness to Hamburg and Warnemünde as well.
Thank you very much, Leonie. In case you have any questions to what Leonie just told you, then you please feel free to write them in the Q&A section, and we'll try to answer them. There's two things that I would like to add. One is concerning the language. You do not have to know German when you come here. You're required to prove that you have an A1 level of German after the first semester. And the university is offering language courses, so you can take just one of these courses and hopefully then pass the course, which gives you an A1 level German. And that will be fine for the beginning. And then you can choose if you want to study more German, which would be probably nice if you already started, but you don't need it for the degree. And one other information I'd like to give you is that you now have a wonderful opportunity to apply in case you are looking for a degree right now, because we have prolonged the deadline to apply for the summer semester. The deadline is until the 28th of February. And on the homepage that has been provided to you, you'll find all the information that you need in order to apply. Thank you very much, Jody, for posting that again. Wonderful. Thank you for listening. Is there anything you'd like to add from my colleagues and Leonie?
Yes, I would like to add that the application deadline is until the end of the month for applicants who have a higher education university entrance qualification from a European country. So if you are so you finished your school outside the European Union, then you have to wait for the winter semester, because then the winter semester is the next possible intake via UniAssist. Yes. So because if you finished your higher university entrance qualification inside the EU, you can apply directly to us via our application portal. And if you completed your school outside the EU, you have to use UniAssist for our institution. And there the application deadline is already has already expired, unfortunately. So yes.
Okay, so thank you very much. You provided quite a very important information. Thank you for everyone, for Professor Papathanassis, for Leonie, for everyone, for Ms. Scheider. So because, various perspectives from professor, from the once a student and current student, and this is really great. So all perspectives are always really very much appreciated. I know as a non-EU student who came to study in Germany, so thank you very much. And regarding the deadlines, this is also really important information. So thanks for adding on that as well. I have nothing more to add. I would just say thank you once again. And towards the end of the webinar, there are some questions I would like to also address to you, but let's wait now for another presentation, I would say. Let me share with you my screen and let's move to another presentation. Just a second. Okay, yes. Yeah, you can see my screen right now. So, okay, like I like really traveling around the map, and now we are traveling from north to quite south of Germany. So we are in Heilbronn, Heilbronn University of Applied Sciences, and we have Susanne Hilland, who will now we are moving from BA to MA, really nice transition, I would say. So MA International Tourism Management. And yeah, Ms. Hilland, please, the floor is yours. I will stop sharing my screen right now.
Thank you very much. So just let me share my screen.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you very much for joining me and going from Bremerhaven to Heilbronn, which is exactly as you can see here, on the opposite side or opposite direction from where we have been right now. But before I start, excuse me, just let me introduce myself. So I'm Susanne Hilland from University of Heilbronn, and I'm the coordinator of the program International Tourism Management, and this is the Master of Arts. While presenting, my colleague Travis Stilton, thank you for joining, he will take care of the Q&A, and so whenever you're coming across a topic or an issue that you would like to ask about right away, you are very welcome to do so. So first of all, thank you very much to my colleagues from Bremerhaven, because you covered some of the issues, especially when it comes to the concept of the University of Applied Sciences, which I then more or less can just rush through. So again, we are presenting, or we are now talking about the MA International Tourism Management. And when talking about the Heilbronn University, you can see we do have 4 campi. The most important one for you is more or less the most new one, or the modern one, is the Bildungscampus Heilbronn, which is directly in the city of Heilbronn. And a little bit outside from Heilbronn, there is more or less the mother university, which is Heilbronn Sondheim. However, you probably won't get in touch or like to go there anyway, or you have to for some admission issues. However, this will be the campi being relevant for you. Then we have Künzelsau and Schwäbisch Hall, kind of in the surrounding of 40, 50 kilometers. So the university city of Heilbronn, we have a population of around 130,000. Meanwhile, it's an excellent location. As you can probably see here, you are right in the vicinity of Italy, Switzerland, Austria, France, which might be an attractive issue for you as well. So we do have the Neckarmeile, if this is something that can attract you as well. So the longest gastronomic river walk in South Germany. We are very famous for our wine. And we have been the host of the 2019 Federal Garden Show, which really gave a fantastic boost to the city center, or to the city itself, and the way you can spend your leisure time. So we do offer in our Faculty of International Business, we do offer 3 master programs. 2 of them are offered entirely in English, which is the program I'm here for now. It's the International Tourism Management. We do have the International Business and Intercultural Management entirely in English offered as well. And the Sustainable Tourism Development, which is partly in German and partly in English. So why I'm mentioning this? This is because the Master of International Tourism Management, so my master, has shared courses with International Business and Cultural Management, so the abbreviation is MIBIM, and of course with the Sustainable Tourism Development as well. So you've got the chance to not only mingle, but to get to know your student colleagues from the other 2 master programs as well. So as Professor Papathanassis already mentioned, we are a University of Applied Sciences as well, and offer not only excellent career opportunities and high practical relevance, but of course many opportunities for international networking during the studies. You've got individual support and mentoring, and we are following, as our colleagues in Bremerhaven, the interdisciplinary concept. Let's get some short facts on MyGerm as an overview. So as I've already mentioned, it's a Master of Arts. The language is English, so the whole program is taught in English. You don't need any German language skills. However, of course, for daily life, it's always an advantage. And therefore, we are offering free of charge particular German courses. As mentioned already, we are at the location of the Bildungscampus, and we have only one intake, which is the winter term. MyGerm, our master, is covering 3 semesters, so 90 ECTS, and I will come to the abbreviation ECTS a little bit later on, because I can imagine that some of you have an international background and so are not familiar with the ECTS concept. So as a side info, a semester abroad is possible. We do have numerous partner universities offering in an exchange semester. And the type of study is full-time. And as you probably have learned, Baden-Württemberg is charging fees to international students. However, there are quite a number of exceptions, and therefore it's definitely recommendable to contact us in order to learn if we can give you further information, if it's applicable for you that you have to pay 1,500 euros per semester. This hasn't been a decision from our side, from our university, but was a decision from the federal government. So unfortunately, we cannot do anything on this issue. So what are the MyGerm objectives? So MyGerm, this again is the abbreviation of my tourism master. MyGerm qualifies tourism managers to operate effectively in international and cross-tourism hospitality business environments. And it develops managers who can, of course, manage business functions such as marketing, human resources, offers or kind of relates management position in for-profit, non-profit, governmental organization, and on a local level as well as on a global scale. And at the end of your studies, you should be able, or you will be able, to plan and execute strategies involved in building and maintaining successful operations. So this is what we are striving for. And of course, the question is always, what sets MyGerm apart from other master programs? So first of all, there are practical projects and excursions. We do have a lot of expert lectures and excursions, domestic and foreign. Of course, due to Corona, we do have the focus on domestic excursions. However, for example, in the past, we've been around the world, more or less, Costa Rica, Sri Lanka, South Africa, hoping that we will be able to offer these kind of excursions and projects soon again. And of course, we have project studies with tourism companies all over the world. We have, and we are very international, or we are working very international, and especially in these kind of networks. For example, we have these close cooperations with partners from the industry, business and trade. And as mentioned already, many partner universities. And we do have a lot of close contacts within, for example, the International Tourism Master Network, which gives you the opportunity to get in close contact and benefit from for example, job offers at our partner universities or their related industry partners. Our master is very exclusive. We really want to keep these small groups intensive learning, and therefore our groups will have about 15 students. And as already mentioned, we are offering our program entirely in English, which means that the international study body or the student body is very international. So in our program, around 2/3 of the students are having an international background. What is outstanding, it's of course accredited by Ann-Cathrin. We are networking with MyGermanUniversity and NTE. This is what I've probably mentioned already as well. So you will have common lectures with the two other programs as well. And we have, of course, a multidisciplinary approaches. So have a short look on our program. It starts, as I said, in the winter. At the end of September, you will have an orientation program together with the students of MyVim, so the other master, as well as the NTE, or the nachhaltige Tourismusentwicklung, the Sustainable Development Master. And then in the first semester, from September on until February, you have the first semester as a kind of foundation refresher and introduction to current topics in business and tourism. As you can see, you have research methods, you have international tourism studies, contemporary issues, e-tourism, business simulation, and of course, international management, which, and this module is then being taught together with MyVim, the other master being taught in English. Then you're moving on to the second semester, which is in our case, the summer term. There you have again methods, which is building on the first semester knowledge. And again, you have another module in international tourism studies. For example, as you can see here, tourism policy and planning, sustainable tourism management, intercultural management, and marketing in international tourism, like destination, hospitality, and operator. However, the second semester is definitely dominated by the international tourism project, which is always offered in a collaboration with the industry. And so here you can apply what you've learned, for example, in Bremerhaven in your bachelor, and then coming to us, or having already working experience. This is the project where you can show and apply your knowledge. Then the third semester is dedicated to the master thesis. And you can, for example, either spend it abroad, doing your master thesis there, or you might wish to take the third semester as an opportunity to take an internship, going to one of our partner universities, and then starting the thesis at the end, or getting registered for the thesis at the end of the third semester, which is possible as well. So here are some MyGermanUniversity graduates. I don't want to go into the details, but you can see that they are very international, or having an international background. And I want, for example, to mention particularly 𝘱𝘢𝘳𝘵. She was, for example, for 1 year at our partner university, the University of Central Lancashire, to do the exchange for 1 year, and even wrote her master thesis in Lancashire there. But now another important issue might be the entry requirements for MyGermanUniversity. Oh, sorry, there's a mistake in slide. However, we are talking about MyGermanUniversity, And the entry requirements are the same for, as I said, MITIM and MIBIM. The most main requirement is an excellent or good first degree, bachelor degree in business study or a business-related discipline. So at least 50% of your courses needs to come from a business subject. In case you are not sure if you are kind of fulfilling these main requirement, you're always happy to contact us. Send us your transcript and we will definitely have a closer look on that. Your bachelor degree should have 210 ECTS. So these probably you're familiar, just in short, the ECTS is the abbreviation of European Credit Transfer System and harmonizes the counting of your workload, for example, in your bachelor and the master. So the workload is dedicated to the module or sub-modules, and it's not on your grade. Again, the bachelor degree should have 210 ECTS. Again, you can send us your transcript to learn about if it's 210 ECTS or 180 ECTS. In case of the latter, you have the opportunity to obtain these missing 30 ECTS while being enrolled in our master, for example, going to a partner university and taking there the missing ECTS, or taking the ECTS here in Germany at our university, or better from our faculty. The German average grade should be 2.5 or better, or an equivalent international qualification. So 2.5 or better means 2.4, 2.3, 2.2, etc. Then another entry requirement is the high level of proficiency in English. So you have to have a IELTS, TOEFL, a Cambridge certificate, or the Oxford test of English. Of course, native speakers are exempt from this rule. Unfortunately, we cannot accept any other evidence. So regarding the application procedure, we do have two steps. It's different to the university or our colleagues in Bremerhaven. We are not working with the university or the uni assist, but with the Studienkolleg Konstanz. So if you have a degree from a non-German university, might it be European or international, you need this Studienkolleg Konstanz certificate. So on our website, we provide you with all the links. I don't have them here in my slide. The most important is to get in contact with the Studienkolleg Konstanz more or less immediately. It's applicable to that you have a non-German degree. Please check the Studienkolleg Konstanz website for the required application documents, submission instructions, and processing time. It might take some weeks or even months, depending on how busy you are. So it would be very recommendable to start this process right away. This certificate of verification must be submitted to Heilbronn University in step 2. And this step 2 applies to all applicants. Might the applicant come from Germany or from abroad. The online application portal opens around late May, and then you have to complete the online application form, print it, sign it, and send this application form and all accompanying documents by mail to our department or the student department at the Heilbronn University. The deadline, and this is really a cutoff date, is the July 15th. So documents received after the deadline and incomplete applications, unfortunately, cannot be considered. So, however, I want to give you some information on step 2. So the application procedures. So you have to hand in, as I said, the signed application form, the general certificate of education or other school leaving certificate, which is in most cases a high school certificate. The first degree awarded relevant to the application at our university or for this program, the transcript, records, and in case of non-German degree, the certification issued by Studienkolleg Konstanz. So again, the English test results have to be included as well, and they have to be handed in until the 15th of July at the latest as well. Your CV and a letter of motivation, approximately 2 pages in English, telling us why you would like to study MyGermanUniversity and at our university. So these are the selection criteria. And as probably already mentioned, the grade of your first degree is our main selection criteria. It counts for 60% of your score, means it cannot be balanced by any other kind of assessment. So, however, if you have a 2.5 or better, we are giving extra points for example, work experience, preferably in course-related areas after your first degree and a minimum of 6 months. And as well, extra points for international experience, so working and studying abroad. Again, at least 6 months or 1 semester doing an internship or a semester abroad in your bachelor's. Oh, here we go. I'm already through. As I said, it was just as a short wrap up what we are offering. We are probably now having the opportunity to ask or answer your questions. Whenever you can go to our website or contact me personally directly. And now, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hilland, for all the details, and thanks to Travis also for answering all the questions during your presentation. And now I would invite everyone to turn on their cameras and let's maybe move to online Q&A session, which I think will be quite interesting for everyone to hear. So yeah, I mean, you did all great job in terms of Q&A as well, because you were answering all the questions, but still I caught some interesting questions that might be interesting to the general audience. So I will voice them. First of all, you all mentioned regarding English requirement, because this is one of the most important topics for international students. So just to once again reiterate, for example, it was mentioned that, okay, if you are a native speaker, you don't need to provide any language certificate. But for example, if I am Georgi from Georgia and I had my undergraduate degree all in English, do I have to provide English certificate still, or I am exempt from it? Anyone can start.
Okay, when it comes to our master, I don't know if it's kind of applied, or the question is probably for the bachelor and the master.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, okay.
For both, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. For our master, unfortunately, we definitely only can take into consideration the test results I've just mentioned, IELTS, TOEFL, Cambridge, or Oxford test, or being native. Unfortunately, we cannot take into account studied an English program as a bachelor.
Yeah, thanks. Good to know. Good to know. Thank you very much. And from Bremerhaven, if I completed my school in English, so how it works?
Yeah, for Bremerhaven, it is like this. If you completed maybe another bachelor program completely in English, then we could accept that as English language proof. If your bachelor documents do not state that, then we need a certificate from your home university stating that. And the same is for one of our English taught master programs. So it would work the same way. Otherwise, if you have not completed a bachelor program already in English language, then we need international certificate like IELTS or TOEFL test.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Good to know. Thank you very much. Also, I wanted to ask about internships. Because there were quite a lot of questions regarding doing internships. So what I want to know is that is there any way, like for example, for both universities, to support students in terms of finding internships? Is there any support program if they do not? Because sometimes in Germany, if you don't know German language, it can be a little bit challenging to find internships. So is there any support from program side? So I would now start with Bremerhaven then.
Yes, we have a career service center and they support our students finding internships or also finding the first job after the bachelor or master program. And they, we have companies, they contact our career service center and send some type of job applications, and our students can then have a look at it. And our career service center also supports with having a look at the application itself. Maybe they can give some good advice.
Great, wonderful, thank you very much. And
apart from that, just to add to that, apart from that, as we mentioned before, the alumni are spread around the whole tourism industry and cruise industry, of course. So also we can use these contacts to make matches and also to ask if anyone needs an intern and so on. That is frequently used.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you very much for your answers. And yeah, let's move to Heilbronn now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it applies to us as well. I mean, as already mentioned, we do have a career center as well. Of course, we do make a lot of use of our alumni network as well. And as you probably know, we are close to Stuttgart, which means here is a real industry hub when it comes to all kinds of industries, and it's quite close to Frankfurt, Munich, which is of course very relevant to the tourism industry as well. So it's not far from Heilbronn. I mean, this is there. To my knowledge, there was no student who couldn't get an internship around here. I mean, around means 2 or 3 hours, depending on the job they are looking or internship they are looking for. So they are excellent here still. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. And yeah, Professor.
I would like to also add something. I mentioned earlier that we are pretty small, and the other thing I didn't mention, that we are actually practically one of the very few places worldwide that specialize on cruise tourism. The advantage that we have here is that because we are the only ones, they know us and we know them, and I mean the companies. So it's quite common that usually when students apply, the companies usually call me. They ask me, well, do you have anyone good for this? And if someone applies, they ask me also what I think of them. So, you know, we are without really intending so, we've become, our faculty is a bit like a career service, more like, how do you call it, personnel service, because simply they're not, it's a small industry. It's like anyone who's in tourism knows this. Tourism is big, but it's small. And everyone knows everyone, and we usually say in tourism, I see my colleague Mrs. Hilland here nodding, everyone meets twice, and the second time is usually sober, not drunk. So it also works pretty well when it comes to finding jobs and internships and this kind of stuff.
Great to know. That's really wonderful insight. Thank you very much. Nice. Thanks a lot to everyone. Let's now address another interesting question that I saw several times also in the Q&A, and then I will address one open question, which sounds interesting. Regarding the background, I saw also Travis answered this question, and from Bremerhaven there were some answers also, but just once again to reiterate, regarding the background, for example, if a student studied before in particular, like, for example, in literature or international relations, let's say, or something not really that much related to tourism management, is it strict that this person will not be considered if he or she applies for tourism for one of these programs?
In my opinion, if the first bachelor program is completed, so then the student should have a higher education entrance qualification, which is not limited to a specific sector. And then it should be, of course, possible to apply for our cruise tourism management bachelor degree course. If the first bachelor program is not completed, let's say the applicant has only completed, let's say, 2 or 3 semesters, then it can be likely that there is a higher education entrance qualification, but limited to a specific area of studies that we need to check in advance.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Thank you very much.
Okay, in our case, it always depends on, because we do often get some requests. I've studied tourism in my bachelor. Am I eligible to study international tourism management? Because in their perception, they don't see tourism as business. And of course, tourism is business. Yeah, it's nothing else but business. So yes, I mean, this is, as I probably said in my presentation, if there are any doubts, they are definitely welcome to send their transcript. Because you've mentioned literature or mere language studies, they are rather excluded because, as I said, we do start not from the scratch in our master when it comes to business, but expecting some knowledge, or not some, quite a bit of knowledge in business. So yeah, however, please feel free to send us your transcript and we are happy to have a closer look at it.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think this is generally a great suggestion when it comes to this kind of background question. Always, it's better if you are not sure that it's not directly related to the program, always ask the program representatives and to make sure that you are on the safe side. Yeah, this is a really good suggestion. And yeah, Professor Papathanassis?
What I get this question a lot, should I apply, should I not apply? I usually say, well, apply, whatever you do, apply. It's for free. Yeah. And in any case, I think the most important question is not if I get accepted, but the question is what happens afterwards. So my recommendation would be, if motivation is really everything, and if you're motivated and committed, there's no way you're going to fail. Regarding the language, this is usually the problem, especially when it comes to English, because we do teach really in English and everything is done in English, also the literature we provide and everything else. This is where we've seen in the past that most people struggle in the first semester. Positive thing is, again, I'm coming back to commitment and motivation. After the first semester, it becomes no problem. People go through it and they become pretty amazing at it as well. So language is important, but don't overstate it either. If you're there, plus, we have summer courses and everything. It's also pretty easy to learn. I'll keep it short. When I first came to Germany to work, I didn't speak a word of German. Okay, it's as simple as that. And they asked me at 𝘈𝘥𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘴𝘪𝘈 at the time if I could learn German in 3 months, and I said sure, no problem. And I went and did 3 months German lessons, and I learned, and I worked happily ever after. Had my career there. Came at a German university. My German was still not very good, and it's still bad today. But I'm kind of coming through. So don't let language stop you. Use it, practice, apply, try. Don't let your language fears hold you back. This is the only thing I can tell you from my own experience. So if you're afraid of something, just go for it. and you'll see it was a storm in a glass at the end of it.
Yeah, another great insight. Thank you very much. I would totally agree with that. Also, sure. Okay, so let me now address some questions that are open, and I will call it a day. I would say so. A question from Emilio, who asks, I think that this question is directed to both programs. There is no specification. So Emilio asks, may I access or apply with IB, which to my best knowledge means International Baccalaureate. So yeah, I would say that yeah, both programs can start, anyone who wants. Yeah, sure. Miss Hilland, you can start. And
classical misunderstanding.
No worries.
In fact, depending on, to put it like that, we are working, other than Bremerhaven, we are working with the Studienkolleg Konstanz. And when applying for the certificate of Konstanz, they are kind of deciding whether the bachelor is eligible, or with their bachelor, they are eligible to apply for general master on master's level or for any master. And then this will be stated in the certificate of Konstanz, Studienkolleg Konstanz certificate. And this is then the most important information for us. So it's not us deciding, or our university or our faculty is not deciding whether they can apply with it, but the Studienkolleg Konstanz, and therefore it makes a lot of sense, as I said in my presentation, to get immediately in touch with the Studienkolleg Konstanz.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Hilland.
The International Baccalaureate, it's both my daughters are doing it as well. I know that in the past we've had students that have come into our program with the IB, and I don't see any issue whatsoever. Actually, I would say the IB is a pretty cool qualification to have, also in terms of preparing you for studies. Therefore, I don't see a problem with that. On the contrary.
Great, good. Thank you very much. Quite optimistic. So Emilio, looks nice. You can apply. You can try both parts. So yeah, depending on what you want to do, BA or MA. Yeah, good. And now I would say now it's really good that we have one more question open for Heilbronn and one more from Bremerhaven. So and then we can finish with that. Great. So good evening from Philippines. My question is for Hochschul Heilbronn. Would they accept a student with work experience in the tourism industry as a travel designer consultant? I graduated with a degree in development communication with a few units of marketing and entrepreneurship. Quite a specific question. I guess more information is needed, but still, yeah, please.
Thank you very much. Yeah, as I said, I mean, this is a classical case I just mentioned, is it would be best to see the transcript, to see if the 50% of business subjects are covered. This is definitely a bit kind of particular in this case. And then we can see if she has working experience after these first, or if you have working experience after your bachelor, it fulfills the requirements, we definitely can give you extra points. So please just send us your transcript, and I will have a closer look to it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
This, yeah, again.
Sorry to be not kind of too or cannot specify my answer.
No, it's quite natural. So this is the best answer that you can receive in this case, because it's not that easy to say based only on this information. For every program, it's like that, I would say. So the best thing is that, again, to contact directly to the program representatives, and they need a bit more information to let you know whether you qualify or not. So yeah, that's great. Thank you very much. We had a nice comment for Professor. Now it's gone. I think Professor already answered this question, this comment. Okay. And now we are moving to the last question for today that I would like to address. It's now for Bremerhaven. Hello, thank you for your time. Question for Bremerhaven. Are you used to guiding foreigners to apply? In many universities, theoretically, everyone is welcome, but practically it's uphill battle. How do you help non-Europeans to enroll and stay? Thanks, really nicely put question. So yeah, please, anyone from Bremerhaven?
Well, I would say theoretically everyone's welcome, but practically not. With us, it's the other way around. Theoretically, nobody's welcome, but practically they are. It's important to put you in charge. Again, we have the advantage, we're pretty small, and basically it's about getting in touch with the right people. We have an international office. There are very nice colleagues there, very nice young people, and if you come in contact, they will help you as much as they can. Now, when it comes to things like visas and so on and so forth, because I assume this is what you're talking about, this can be complicated, not because of us, but mainly because of the formalities and the authorities. However, we do have know-how, and we do have personnel and people who will be very glad to support you and help you. The thing that I would say, and I would advise everyone, is call or make a Zoom meeting or a video conference and talk to people. I think this is the best way forward, not just because I know that the young generation prefers like texting and prefers writing emails, or rather emails are kind of a bit old school. But I would really recommend to just register and just have a one-to-one consulting talk. And once you have the contact, they can help you a lot. And if it gets so difficult, at the end of the day, I'm around. I have the advantage. I'm also the rector of the university, so I can throw my weight around and try and make things happen.
Thank you very much. And just in case, as you mentioned, also Professor, visa issue, for those who are more interested in these details about visa, I also provide in the chat the link to our article, which is quite comprehensive regarding visa, some details. So you can, to the person who has just texted us, he or she can also see that article. So yeah, thanks a lot to Richard. There's one more question. I will not address it. I will just say that, Richard, please get in touch with both universities. Contact details you already know, because based only on this small part of information, it's difficult to say whether you can apply or not. Please contact them and they will get back to you, I'm sure, as soon as possible. Okay, Professor wants to answer.
And with your surname, I don't think you'll have any problem studying in Germany.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, agreed.
It's a very famous name here in Germany, so I think
those who follow football know it quite well. Nice. Good comment, good point. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Okay, let me now finalize our part. So just once again, thank you very much, everyone, for speakers, for those who are answering in the Q&A all the time and in the live Q&A from both sides. Thanks a lot. I really enjoyed today's webinar. I'm sure students too. So for those who joined us, of course, thank you for being with us until the end. If you have any questions to the programs, of course, you are more than welcome. As you could see how friendly our guests are, you can always get in touch with them. And if you have any general questions regarding studying in Germany, of course, MyGermanUniversity is always there. Also, you can see our email, info@mygermanuniversity.com. You can text us there, or on Facebook or on Instagram, and we will get back to you really as soon as possible. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for being with us. And also, if you would like to leave a feedback for our today's webinar, which would be really great, you can also leave us feedback on Facebook or Google on our web pages, and we would really appreciate to hear from you what you liked or what we could improve. So yeah, thanks again, everyone. Have a nice evening or afternoon or morning, depending on where people are joining us from. So yeah, I enjoyed it and hope for future webinars with you. Thank you and bye-bye.